India, a nation of 1.4 billion people, stands at the forefront of global economic transformation. As the world faces slowing growth in certain mature markets, India's story is one of relentless momentum. While short term challenges like inflation or geopolitical tensions dominate headlines, the forces driving India's economy are far more powerful and sustainable. These forces are reshaping the country's trajectory. India is not just growing, it's evolving in ways that are unique to its context and scalable on a global level. This video is one in a series of videos I will be making to cover the forces driving India's economy. Today's focus will be on the booming consumer market, context appropriate innovation, and India's green economic transition. At the heart of India's growth is its population, one of the youngest in the world. With a median age of 28 years old, India has a demographic advantage that no other major economy can match. This youthful workforce is entering a period of rising incomes, which is fueling a shift towards consumption led growth. Over the past decade, India has added over 300 million people to its middle class, a number that is projected to double by 2030. This expanding middle class is driving demand for goods and services across sectors, ranging from essential products to luxury items that reflect rising aspirations. To put this into perspective, consider consumer durables like washing machines, air conditioners, and even smartphones. In mature markets, these are considered as necessities, but in India, they represent aspirational purchases for millions. Companies that tap into this demand are seeing extraordinary growth. For example, the smartphone market in India is now the second largest in the world, driven by affordable options from brands like Xiaomi and Realme. Similarly, two-wheeler sales, particularly from brands like Hero and Bajaj, continue to dominate transportation in both urban and rural areas. What makes this demand even more significant is India's resilience to global slowdowns. Unlike export driven economies, India's consumption led model relies on its domestic market, shielding it from international volatility. As millions more enter the consuming class, this growth will only accelerate. India's population isn't just surviving anymore, it's thriving, creating opportunities for businesses and investors that see the potential of this rising demand. India's success isn't just about demand, though. It's about meeting that demand in ways that are uniquely tailored to the country's economic and cultural realities. India is often described as a land of contrasts, where extreme wealth coexists with extreme affordability. To succeed here, businesses need to innovate solutions that cater to this diversity. Take Maruti Suzuki, for example. In global markets, automakers focus on premium vehicles, but in India, affordability and reliability are key. Maruti Suzuki dominates with models like the Swift and Wagon R, priced between $5,000 to $8,000. This focus on accessible mobility has earned Maruti Suzuki a 40% market share, a staggering number compared to its competitors in India. The same principle applies to the fast food industry. When entered India, it couldn't rely on its global menu. Instead, it localized, introducing vegetarian burgers like the McAloo Tikki and spicy options tailored to Indian tastes. This approach made India one of McDonald's fastest growing markets. On the flip side, companies that fail to understand India's unique context face challenges. Netflix is a prime example. Its initial strategy of premium pricing and limited local content didn't work in India, where affordability and cultural relevance are critical. It wasn't until Netflix introduced low cost subscription plans and heavily invested in Indian films and series that it started gaining a little bit more traction. The lesson here is clear. Businesses that succeed in India are those that don't force global strategies onto local markets, but innovate to address India's needs. India is also driving innovation through its startups. The company is now home to over 100 unicorns, startups valued over $1 billion. Dollars. Companies like Byju's, Zomato, and Udaan are solving real world problems at scale while demonstrating that innovation can be affordable, efficient, and profitable. This startup ecosystem reflects India's ability to turn local challenges into opportunities for growth and global recognition. Now let's talk about India's green transition. As the world's third largest energy consumer, India faces enormous challenges in balancing growth with environmental responsibility. The country has made a bold commitment to achieving net zero emissions by 2070, and this push toward renewable energy is already transforming its economy. India's government has set ambitious targets. By 2030, 50% of India's electricity will come from non fossil fuel resources. Solar power is at the heart of this transition. In Rajasthan and Gujarat, massive solar farms are generating clean energy at a scale that was unimaginable a decade ago. India is now the fourth largest solar power producer in the world, with costs falling so rapidly that renewable energy is becoming cheaper than coal. This transition isn't just about energy, it's about jobs, innovation, and investment. According to the World Economic Forum, India's green economy could create 50 million jobs by 2070. From installing solar panels in villages to building electric vehicle infrastructure in cities, these opportunities are reshaping India's workforce and industries. Take the EV market, for example. The government's push for EV adoption through subsidies and infrastructure investment has led to rapid growth. Companies like Tata Motors and Ola Electric are building EVs that are affordable for Indian consumers, accelerating the country's green transition. India's approach to sustainability also reflects its ability to turn global challenges into economic opportunities. While countries in the West face resistance in transitioning away from fossil fuels, India is kind of embracing this change, positioning itself as a leader in the green economy. This shift ensures that India's growth is not just rapid but also sustainable, benefiting both current and future generations. India's economic story is one of transformation. The rising consumer market, context driven innovation, and the green transition are three key forces propelling this growth, but they're far from the whole picture. India's economy is shaped by a multitude of factors, from tech advancements and infrastructure development to financial inclusion and global trade. Together, these elements are creating a dynamic and resilient economy that is positioning India as a global leader. What's more exciting is that this transformation is just beginning. As India continues to evolve, it's important to recognize that its growth isn't limited to a few isolated trends. There's so much more to uncover about the forces driving India forward, and I'll dive into those in my next video. If you found this discussion insightful, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. In the next video, I'll explore more factors driving India's economic growth and what they mean for the country's future. See you in the next one.